So welcome, folks. Yeah, nice to see your names. Um, when I logged into this Zoom account, I did not know that the default setting was for my face to be touched up. So I've shut down that function, and if I look more grizzled today than yesterday, uh, that's the explanation. It wasn't a rough day yesterday. You weren't hard on me. Um, so, with that critical announcement complete, you can meditate. But before before we do, line from Simone Weil. She said, attention taken to its highest degree is the same thing as prayer. Attention taken to its highest degree is the same thing as prayer. Mm. Taken to its highest, classically attention is said to be a kind of neutral factor, wholesome or unwholesome. But what I believe she's pointing to is, the more deeply intimate we get with experience, the more profoundly a sense of the meditator falls away. The meditator becomes the meditated. And the attention that normally feels like, well, I'm operating the spotlight of attention behind the scenes in some way, that falls away, and the kind of effortlessness of awareness, the emptiness of awareness, the enchanted, devotional, inseparable from a certain kind of nonviolence, attention becomes prayer. And the sense of the wise view is something that gets added to the attention. It's like the attention and view converge. And we know what the Buddha was talking about. And there is something very deeply devotional, heartfelt, becomes prayer. So may we pray together. So letting your body find its posture. We maybe start practice with more dualistic sense of the willfulness of some instructions. Relax. your body, release tension, allow whatever tension remains to remain. Direct your attention to your body or your breath, to the soundscape, to some attentional anchor. And we begin to kindle kind of fires of devotion, prayer, reverence. We offer our heartfelt forgiveness for imperfection, our heartfelt forgiveness for samsara, this kind of realm, cyclical suffering. How deeply can you forgive? And of course, whatever you think you are, that is fully included in the forgiveness. Sometimes our love, our attention uh, migrates out to other objects, our love of safety, of pleasure, of knowing, of security. Even our worry testifies to a certain kind of love, protectiveness. And we recommit to this kindling of the sacred that begins even when it feels like we're in uh, low gear, something feels clunky. We keep offering our attention until it becomes prayer, until the effortlessness of awareness, that which is not me, is apparent. And it no longer feels like the meditator behind the control panel directing the attentional spotlight to the breath or the body or whatever. And the clunkiness of me directing my attention towards the breath becomes the grace of awareness, emptiness. the kind of clunkiness of I amness, the clunkiness of self, of feeling like the meditation is all up to us, sort of uh, yields to that which it doesn't feel like we own, control, direct. Almost like we relax all the mechanisms of doing and selfing, and let awareness find us. The sense of self manifests as agenda, tension, sense of responsibility, responsibility to work out our redemption in the rag and bone shop, the heart. But the meditator becomes the meditated. A certain kind of faith in love, awareness. That we can let go, be groundless, and something will catch us. Okay, folks. So it's good to sit with you. Um, this is Louise Cook. Uh, my body, now that we will not be traveling together much longer, I begin to feel a new tenderness toward you, very raw and unfamiliar, like what I remember of love when I was young. Love that was so often foolish in its objectives, but never in its choices, its intensities. So the theme has been faith, and the manifestations of doubt, faith and the manifestations of doubt. And said yesterday that information is the reduction of uncertainty, and doubt can't take in information. It's all noise, no signal. And today wanted to speak about another aspect of faith that's been important to me, and what I was alluding to in the sit, and it's the faith we develop in love, faith in love. Love is said to be, excuse me, said to be the glue of the universe, that which prevents things from disintegrating. And we know this aversion, hatred, aggression, this runs so deep in us. This is with us until we're very, very free. And to actually manage our aversion, to manage our hate, we develop something akin to a faith in love. In our evolutionary history, across millions of years, our animal ancestors, like, aggression appeared before affiliation. Maybe we say, I don't know, it doesn't sound great, but hate predated love, something like this. Uh, and so it's this very potent force in us. It's been conserved over forever, you know, and hatred breeds its own kind of fundamentalism. There's so much certainty in a mind that's mired in hate. It admits of no uh, nuance. And it's a very seductive force in the mind. It's like, well, what's the point? There's hate everywhere. I want in. It feels like the only way to respond. And yeah, but if there's a point of our life, if there's a point of our life, if there's a point of anything, it'll involve love. And so here, faith inserts a measure of doubt in doubt in the view forged by aversion. We cultivate a faith in love, a faith in love, a kind of trust in its redemptive power. Like, where else are we going to look to redeem suffering and changingness and finitude, death? Like, where else? Like, where else? Where else should we pray? And so there's a kind of trust that develops over time, over the months and years of practice, that deep happiness is utterly dependent on on love. They're inextricably bound. Like there is no um, close-hearted happiness. There's for sure close-hearted pleasure. There's close-hearted excitement, but like deep happiness, that entails open-heartedness. And so maybe we say something like, "Oh yeah, love is somehow aligned with the architecture of our nervous system." Uh, yeah, if we're to be at peace, it will involve open-heartedness. And so we have these like very vivid, repeated conscious experiences of the dead end of anger, the dead end of it. And of course, like I acknowledge that anger sometimes has something vitally important to tell us, that some boundary's been crossed or something can't be condoned, some no, the no of love must be issued. I don't dispute that at all. And for some people, coming into anger, embodying that, knowing it, permitting it, finding ways of expressing it, this is a critical kind of developmental milestone. Uh, but whatever wisdom is there in our anger, in our aversion, there's always a kernel of delusion too. And so how many times do I need to feel regret about my aversion to learn that it can't end well? How many more times will I need? We become devoted, faithful in love. We see the kind of confusion that must be nurtured to like stay fully mired in anger. The the Buddha said that to see causality, conditionality, is to see the Dhamma, paticca samuppada, the kind of conditionality of life, everything depending on everything else. And to see this paticca samuppada, like paticca samuppada is incompatible with hatred. There's no place to paint the hate, but paticca samuppada is fully compatible with love. It's important to see. In our anger, we sort of like fail to follow the chain of like cause and effect far enough. We stop when it's convenient. We like look and yeah, and then we stop because we have the sense of like, if we keep going, if we keep following causality, if we keep investigating conditionality, I'm going to have to give up this anger. And as practitioners, we keep going. We keep going. We don't get off the kind of train of investigation where that maintains our hate. We keep going. We develop a kind of faith in love that some emotion held with wisdom terminates in love. Emotion held with wisdom terminates in love. We follow the thread of our emotional longing. This happened, that happened, I felt this, sense that. We follow that thread, and there's a certain kind of trust that it terminates in love. Martha Nussbaum said our emotional life maps are incompleteness. Emotional life maps are incompleteness. And what she says, like, yeah, all of our emotion testifies to need. All of our emotional life announces human need. And need in its own way is innocent. And so we develop this faith in love, and we follow the kind of emotional thread to its root. We follow it to innocence. We practice in ourselves consciously sensing the dissipation of emotion, the end of a feeling, the cessation of a feeling, and what is left, what's left when feeling dissolves. The lesson of that following the intensity, the dissipation, the ending of feeling, the following never leads us to the conclusion of hate, but non-hate. And a certain kind of genius of the Brahma Viharas of kindness and compassion, joy, equanimity. It's like we follow the thread of our emotional intensity, and it's like our emotion terminates in one of the four Brahma Viharas, terminates in one of those. And so we follow the thread, we keep looking, and we have this trust, if we look fearlessly, deeply, this kind of profound attention, if we look deeply enough, we don't land in hate. We find ourselves in kindness, compassion, and joy, equanimity. And this faith deepens and deepens and begins to kind of cast a shadow over our hate. It's the thing we can remember even as we forget so much in the grips of aversion, of resentment, of hatred. The kind of shadow of love is there. The faith we develop in love is there. So I offer this for your consideration, and yeah, I wish you all a good day.